Okay, shall we start now? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir, we can.
Shall we start now? Because now about 14 are there. So I'll tell others joining. Okay. Um, Let me start with sharing the presentation. Hope you can see the screen and hear me.
Yes.
Can you see the screen and hear me?
Yes, sir, yes.
Yeah. Good afternoon to all of you. And we will discuss in the next 1 or 2 hours about this topic on accreditation and professional memberships. I should thank Professor Yapa for giving me this opportunity to share my experience with you all. And I don't want to take this as a lecture, but I have some slides. And anytime, if you want to ask any clarification, you are welcome to ask questions and clarifications. So we will go with this. So I understand that there are participants from engineering faculties, technology faculties, and from diploma awarding institutions, and so on. So I will cover the basics of this engineering related program accreditation, especially at the graduate level. I will not use the video because of the some are having poor quality connectivities. So, but time I will be using that as well. So basically, first I should introduce myself. I am Suravira, senior lecturer at the University of Vocational Technology, and I was the former dean of Faculty of Engineering Technology, not at engineering. It's in the University of Vocational Technology. We have engineering technology faculty on. So it's not engineering, but engineering technology faculty. So I'll be discussing with you accreditation of engineering and engineering technology degrees in Sri Lanka, and then the professional memberships available at different levels at professional institutions and engineering council. And then we'll discuss brief on the International Engineering Alliance and its constituents and how it has impacted our accreditation process. And then finally, I will discuss the engineering team, which has this engineering technologist, and engineering technician. So that's the whole thing we'll be discussing. So we will start on, I think you can hear me clearly, no? Can one of you respond to me?
Yes, sir, yes.
So I will not take time to get an introduction to each other because it will take a lot of time and it will not be very useful. Therefore, I'll skip that, and anytime you can ask questions, right? So what is the the purpose of accreditation? We say accredited degrees, um, accredited programs. Basically, what is the whole purpose of accreditation? And say when one program is accredited, what is the benefit we are getting uh, as the university? At the same time, what is the benefit the students are getting? Anyone can give an idea? Accreditation or accredited?
It gives provide the recognition for the country.
Yeah, that's the recognition. Yeah. Basically, accreditation is a tool for quality assurance, right? So once you say that particular program is accredited, you have a kind of a feeling about the quality assurance. Like any other field, like if you take this medical laboratory testing, you have the accreditation board accredited, and also they have affiliation to foreign agencies. They say they have been accredited. So there's a quality assurance process. Whole accreditation is a quality assurance process, and that, as said, gives recognition. Now, if our program is accredited, our students will get benefit when they go outside, uh, migrate or go for foreign further studies like that. The degrees will be recognized. That's such. At the same time, uh, if we are a private entity, if our program is accredited, we are using it for attracting our students, meaning that this is a accredited program, and if you follow this, you are getting this particular benefits, right? But in the many all our national universities, we are not going to do that, because we are, even though we get accredited, we get our the student intake through standard procedure, right? So there are different benefits of accreditation, but in Sri Lanka, accreditation and recognition. We have two processes: accreditation of degrees and recognition of degrees, engineering technology as well as engineering. Uh, these two processes we will discuss. Now, for the purpose of recognizing or accrediting engineering degrees or engineering technology degrees, at the moment, the institution responsible is the Institution of Engineers Sri Lanka. Initially, it was established for engineering. Later on, we expanded it to engineering technology as well. So that it was established as a non-profit kind of non-governmental entity as per the Act number 17 of 1968 been recognized. So it's empowered to admit practicing engineers to different membership categories of the institution, admit and classify them, and to differentiate based on their education and experience and so on, and then confer titles. So when this institution of engineers give the title, they can use it: engineer or chartered engineer or international professional engineer Sri Lanka. These titles can be used uh, by the people before their name. So that's legally can be used. So it indicates the professional standing of the members. So whether the person is an engineer means associate, or chartered engineer is a full member, and international professional engineer is the person who has acquired the engineering standard and the uh, Sydney, Washington Accord requirements. I will elaborate that later on, the differences of these. Now, Institution of Sri Lanka Engineers, so ISL, is the signatory body to the International Engineering Alliance, or called IEA, which was formed very in the recent past by joining number of accrediting bodies. So when ISL has the signatory, full member, full signatory powers to Washington Accord, and for Sydney Accord, the provisional, they can accredit engineering programs as per the Washington Accord requirements, and engineering technology programs as per the Sydney Accords. And you can see here, this accreditation is going for the educational programs. Educational programs of in the degrees are going to be accredited. So ISL at the moment are doing these two: Washington Accord and Sydney Accord accreditation. Washington Accord with the 4-year engineering honors degrees, and Sydney Accord for it depends on whether it's 3 or 4 year. It's for the engineering technologies. And at the moment, we all are familiar, I think, with these memberships offered by ISL. They have the starting with student membership. For engineering students can get in, then companion, associates, and then affiliate member. Then affiliate members can use this title, this one, or the an associate member. Then they get full member, corporate member or chartered engineer member. Only then we have fellow and honorary fellows. These are the categories of memberships. And any questions? Any questions? Any? Okay. If you have any, please. So then, what is the responsibility of ISL in the context of engineering education in Sri Lanka? Now, ISL is responsible for the recognition and accreditation of engineering education programs in Sri Lanka. And also, they are supposed to provide consultative feedback on the development of engineering education programs, right, comparable to global practice, providing consultative feedback on development of engineering education programs. So if we are running a degree program somewhere, and they can give feedback to that entity to make sure that uh, the program is comparable with the global practice, because now we cannot be isolated from the globe, and what we do here has to be in line with the global requirement, because we don't know the destiny of our graduates, because they may stay here, or now today tendencies may to go out. So then we are kind of facilitating that as well. Now there are two words: recognition and accreditation. Now, earlier, when you said what is the purpose of accreditation, one say when the degrees or the program is accredited, we get a recognition for that. But here, this recognition and accreditation are two different processes established by ISL for two different purposes, right? So we'll elaborate that. So they are basically the body to oversee the engineering education programs. It covers engineering and engineering technology. Now, ISL evaluate when we have to apply. If we apply, ISL evaluate these programs for two things. One is for recognition. Recognition means ISL will assess and recognize the degree so that the pass outs from that particular program can become members of ISL, and then when they are members of the ISL, they can go for the local requirement of like to practice engineering in Sri Lanka as per the new Engineering Council Act. We have to get registered on the Engineering Council. So the pathway for Engineering Council membership for the engineers and the engineering technologies through the ISL. So for that, they have the recognition process. And then the next part is the accreditation. Now, recognition is enough for our local requirements. But if you want to benchmark and allow somebody to get comparable qualification with other parts of the world, the accreditation comes in. So accreditation is to cater the international recognition requirement. So once the program is recognized by ISL, it's for local. But accredited only, when we accredit the program, only other parts of the world, it will be recognized. That's what we at the beginning identified. Like for example, I graduated in 1994 when I want to go to Australia. And there I had to personally put all my qualifications, everything to the Engineer Australia. Then only they evaluated and gave me the status. But now it's easy because now our degree programs, engineering programs from all our universities are accredited by ISL in line with the uh, Washington Accord requirements, and Australia is a signatory country to that. So mutually they recognize. So that's lengthy procedure of recognition is not required now. Why? This accreditation and everything are done as per the established criteria and procedures. But accreditation is for outside recognition, internal recognition, only that recognition process. Now you can see this recognition of a degree may precede the accreditation. Before getting accredited, you have to go with it. And there's a question, I think. Yeah. No, attendance sheet. Sorry. Right. Yeah. Okay. So this is the whole two meanings of recognition and accreditation, right? And then we'll come back again to the purpose of accreditation from the perspective of ISL and to oversee, but they do the oversee the programs. So we basically say once the program is accredited, it gives a recognition. How that recognition is getting, and then what are the things? Now, engineers or engineering technologists are not developed at once. They are developed through a process. The process is they get education at a university or higher education institution. They get a base, and then with the while they are practicing, they get practical experience, exposure, and through that only they become professional practitioners. So you won't get a professional practitioner from just from a university itself. You will develop a graduate engineer, but that person to become a professional engineer or professional engineer technologist, the experience comes in. Now, normally this, as I discussed, the university education is providing the learning base on which the engineer, professional engineers career is built. So they get the foundation from the university or higher education institution. Here we have those university education, but it could be university or higher education institution can provide the learning base, the foundation. Now, after that, to practice engineering or engineering technologies, it needs members to have some competence in applying engineering concepts and understanding the effect of engineering on society and the environment. These are very important things. So you get the theoretical thing, the concepts, competencies, knowledge, everything from the base uh, degree program, and thereafter, while working, you develop your competence in all the engineering activities, and then while doing that, you will develop an understanding. The person should get developed understanding of the effects of engineering on society and environment. So it will be experienced by the person. Now, the purpose of accreditation is to ensure that the engineering education programs impart the minimum academic requirements. Minimum academic requirement needed for an individual to register with the institution as a graduate engineer. It same applies to minimum academic requirement to register as an engineering technologist. So base, some programs may provide more than what is required, but ISL will look at the minimum requirement. So every program should have the minimum requirement, but some will give additional requirement. That's okay. And in the accreditation process, they will look at the different aspects, and especially they will be uh, focusing on the students, their entry qualifications, their profile, then academic staff, the qualifications, professional memberships, their profile, research activities, and so on. And then the support staff availability and their qualifications. And then teaching facilities. Teaching facilities means what? The laboratory facilities available, and then lecture room facilities, libraries, and so on. The physical resource requirement, whether the physical resource requirement is enough to impart uh, engineering education and also to develop a competent graduate. And then they will also look at the teaching, learning, and the assessment process. How the teacher, what are they going to teach, how they are going to teach, and then what are the method that are used to assess and to make sure that the teaching has given the intended uh, satisfy the intended requirement, and also we'll look at, as I said, quality assurance process. Base of quality assurance is the uh, continual improvement. Right. There's a one question. What is the other main difference between engineering and engineering technology? Okay. Uh, Engineering and engineering technology main difference. I will elaborate toward the end of this session. I will elaborate the difference between engineering, engineering technology, and engineering technician. Right. So it basically goes with the few attributes like problem solving and the activities they are following and they have to do and things like that. So there are three like accords and that I will elaborate. Basically there are based on few guidelines like complexity of the activities, complexity of the problem they have to be solved, like that. The processes they are following based on three these criteria. It is divided. That's how these three accord also come, right? So let me explain that and thereafter see whether you have the question is answered. Thank you for that comment. So basically, this process, they will look at continual improvement of this program. Right. So then when an accreditation is done for a particular program, as uh, initially we discussed, it will give a public knowledge. Mean it's a kind of a recognition. So what are the things that will be there? So it will select somebody who has entered into the program, the following can see that after successful completion, I can enter into the profession because my education provided by the university under that program is accepted by the professional body as the basis. So then I can enter into the profession, then that guarantee is there. And then with the experience, we can go to the professional engineering. At the same time, when the program is accredited, it gives a kind of assurance to prospective students to select. Like, if I select this program and follow this program, I can enter into the profession. Because sometimes, like many places, it happens like certain things our students are joining without proper understanding whether it's a recognized one or it's affiliated to a particular place like that. But they simply follow, and after following only they found that it is not going to be accepted. So that's why this requirement is very crucial to get the not only the academic community but the students at the school level also to be aware of this importance of accredited programs. Now, here we are not having much programs. No, like earlier we had only 2 or 3 faculty, but now a lot of like outside overseas universities they are coming and offering some engineering credentials here. But what is the status of that? Are they being recognized by this uh, Institution of Engineering Sri Lanka here, or are they being accredited by overseas bodies? That's a question. So I will give the answer to that as well, right? So any program in Sri Lanka, it is the IESL that should accredit, right? As per the International Engineering Alliance membership requirements, any professional body can recognize the or accredit the programs in their jurisdiction, means in their territory and where they have been empowered. So Sri Lanka ISL is empowered to do the things in Sri Lanka, but they cannot go and accredit a program outside. It's not happening because that particular outside, there is a professional body in that particular country, and then there should be a mutual agreement. But if there is such a professional body is not there in the other country, then with a kind of agreement and arrangement they can do. But normally these institutions are required only within the country. So at the same time, this accreditation process going through all the things like physical resources, staff requirement, everything. So it will give a feedback to the university, and through the university, it can give feedback to the government to provide facilities, right? To provide basic requirements of a graduate engineering education program. So, see, for example, now we are increasing the intakes and diversifying so many. At the same time, we have to have minimum requirements needed to develop a quality engineering graduate. So these are the requirements that when accreditation visit goes there, and they will identify these things and say there may be some issues, shortcomings, things that can be used by the particular agency to lobby to get the facilities, right? And the level of resources uh, reasonably needed to meet these requirements. That means it's not the our wants, but what is minimum required to achieve the thing. And once the accreditation is done, it provides the basis for international comparability for recognition and mobility of graduates. So, like one is, if you look at getting professional uh, like employment outside, they are the as well as for study purposes, accredited degrees will be. With this, as we discussed in the beginning, recognition. Let's say this is recognized here, accredited here, it will be recognized internationally. If it is recognized here, only internal, but outside they will not if there's an engineering degree program only recognized in Sri Lanka, then if that graduate goes to other country, the complete assessment process has to be undergone by the that particular graduate to get the recognition. But if the program is accredited or they go there, the process becomes easy because that particular guidelines used by our institution of engineers in accrediting an engineering degree program is very similar. Equivalent criteria has been used by a member country like Canada or Australia in doing that. But unfortunately, if somebody goes outside this Washington Accord or IEA membership countries, then the process is the same as the previous. Now, basically, as I mentioned earlier, this accreditation or even the recognition is a quality assurance process. So they use three types of evidence collections to make sure that the things are in line with each other. So it's a process of triangulation of evidences, or basically to verify. Now, what they do, they will say to accredit. I will go to the later to the whole process. We have to do a self-assessment of our degree program and prepare a self-assessment report called SAR. In that, we have the formats are given by the ISL in their manuals. So we have to do a self-assessment of according to that, and then we have to apply. Then that is to be that we have done and we have given to them, and they will verify. Now, starting point of any degree program is the program education objectives, so PEOs. Program education objectives are, anyone who can give an explanation of this program education objectives? You may have followed the curriculum development. So can you can elaborate what is meant by program education objectives or PEOs? Not PEOs. I'm asking about program education objectives. No response.
What do you expect to
Sorry?
what do you expect to achieve through from the particular program, degree program?
Yeah.
Overall degree program?
overall, like it's like what are the intended, as you said,
program outcomes throughout the degree program.
not
So, for
really
an
program.
example,
Yeah, I said,
mechanical
yeah.
engineering through the mechanical
So,
engineering program, what you expect to achieve.
okay. Now, program education objectives are very long term. Maybe after graduation, after 5 years of graduation, what our students will be doing, how they are contributing to the economy of the country, what position they are going to hold, like that, very kind of a long term, one or two or maybe three program educational objectives are there for a degree program, right? So that's very long term. Then if some say we want our engineers to take up chief engineer positions and go abroad and things like that. So that's what our program education objective. Then to achieve that program education objectives, the long-term ones, we have to have certain qualities developed in our students. That's are called graduate attributes. Graduate attributes, I will elaborate with you that basically for engineering or engineering technologists or engineering technologists, the basic graduate attributes are well defined by the international uh, accords. What are their attributes? Very generic, not specific, but generic attributes are defined. So then, now, for example, if we pass out engineering student here today with 4 years degree, engineering accredited to Washington Accord, then after about 5 years, they should have become chartered engineers. With the experience, they could have gone there. And maybe after another 6 years, they have gone to international professional engineer status. So that's the whole expectation. And to go there, we have to have these qualities. Graduate attributes.
Dr. Surera, just
Yeah.
excuse if I get
Yes.
clarified myself. The program objective would be the short term, and the program education objective could be the long term objective of a degree program.
Yeah.
Is that something like
Program
that?
education objectives are long term. Yes. And the program outcomes are
Outcomes is short term.
that program outcomes are the one which graduate will meet at the graduation.
All right. All right.
Right? At the graduation, what are their qualities? And to meet that, develop that qualities, you have to have program outcomes. Right? So based on the graduate attributes, you can develop the program outcomes of PUs. Okay?
Okay. Thank you.
Then to develop their attributes, we need program outcomes, and to develop the program outcomes. So program outcomes are what these graduates are able know, understand, and able to do at the time of graduation, not after 5 years, right? After 5 years, that is the long term, 5 or whatever years, it's program education. Then to get the program outcomes achieved, you have to have in modules or subjects, basically now modules, intended learning outcomes. At the end of the module, what they are supposed to achieve. And then to achieve that, the module content, basically I mean by content is the theoretical knowledge they have to be imparted, then the practicals they have to do, and so on. And then the assessment. How the assessment is done. So because the accreditation people will look at, say, how the entity is telling that the students have achieved the intended learning outcomes, right? So that's they want to verify. So to verify that, they take evidence from different sources. So first you have the now if you go with the reverse thing, we have module intended learning outcomes, and then once students achieve the intended learning outcomes of modules collectively, they will achieve program outcomes. If they achieve the program outcomes, then the required attributes will be developed on them. And once they have these particular attributes, after so many years, they can move up to this particular process. That's the whole idea. And evidence will be collected from documents. Because say all these program outcomes, everything are documented in our curriculum, how we are going to assess and everything. Then that document we are sending to them. They can, and then what they do, they interview the staff, the students, and passed out graduates, as well as the employers of these passed out graduates, to see whether these things are achieved or not. Right? So basically, the process, like we say, this is what we do. We have a curriculum, and this is what we are teaching, and this is how we are assessing, and this is how we make sure that the students have achieved the things. Okay, quite okay. That is our self-assessment. Then external party will come and find from us itself uh, evidence to support that. That's the whole process of either recognition or accreditation. But you can see here, for accreditation, we need the employers of graduate, and employers of the graduates are the best people to talk about the graduate attributes. We can talk about the graduates' program outcomes, whether they have these attributes. Okay, so this is the whole process. And generic attributes of engineering graduates. This graduate word is sometimes in Sri Lankan context, we use it for only for degree holders, but internationally that used for any person who has followed the uh, long-term program. They say graduates of programs, right? Uh, Now there are 12 there are 12 basic or generic attributes, but these are like very generic one. This engineering knowledge, it is there for engineer as well as engineering technologist as well as for engineering technician as well. All are having engineering knowledge, but this will be different. And again, mechanical, electrical, civil, whatever engineering knowledge is there. So we have to specify what is need for mechanical, civil, electrical, like that. So engineering knowledge is one attribute. Then problem analysis, how they approach problems and analyze problems, and then they develop how they design things or develop solution for the problem. Investigations, use of modern tools, are they updated, up to date with the modern technology? And then we discuss the engineer and the society. So what are the impact of the work of engineers onto the society and to the environment? That is there. The next bullet, environment and sustainability, how these engineering practices are going to affect the environment and its sustainability. And then the ethics, engineering ethics, so basically ethics part. And then how to work in a team, the individual and how individual will be working in a team, contributing in a multidisciplinary teamwork. And to achieve all these, they have to have this communication ability, project management and finance. So finally, what will happen to many engineers? So they end up in managerial positions, but they have been trained mainly on technical things. But what they do, manage finance, manage resources, things like that. So they are, you see, the undergraduate program may not be enough for going to up that positions. They need additional learning experience of that. But foundation for finance management, project management to be there in the undergraduate degree program, so that at the end of the program, when they are graduating, they have the basis on this. Then lifelong learning. These are the 12 generic attributes across engineering profession are required as per the International Engineering Alliance requirements. Right. But these can be the basis for program outcomes as well. It's up to do when you do the curriculum. So recognition, as I explained you, the recognition is pre-requirement for accreditation. And once a program is recognized by ISL, that means the pass out from that particular recognized degree can register with ISL as a graduate engineer. Graduate engineers are given as the particular relevant membership, and ISL will recognize degrees. Full recognition is done for 5 years, but if there are some minor deviations of the program compared to the requirements, they will be given conditional recognition for 2 years. Even though conditional given, the pass out of those batches could go to ISL and get the membership. And once they get the membership from ISL, they can go to Engineering Council and register in the Engineering Council at the appropriate membership category. So if say we started a degree program today, and once our first batch pass outs, if we are not accredited or not recognized, they cannot theoretically practice in Sri Lanka as an engineer or engineering technologist, because unless they have a membership from Engineering Council, they cannot do. Therefore, this recognition is there. Even before the first batch pass outs, you can apply, and then the evaluation process also takes some time, and then they will give the recognition, so that students will not get penalized in this situation. Right? Just explain. Even before the first batch of students before graduation, right? So that they will also be covered to that. So, what is the difference between accredited and recognized degree? Recognized degree has all the requirements that, as per the ISL, needed for a pass out to register as a get the professional membership at their institution. Like they have that education, and it requires training and other experience, so to become a professional registration at ISL, but not outside, within the country. Right? Now, accredited degree is a different one. That goes little beyond that recognition. And when we have the accreditation for a degree, ISL is accrediting as per the requirements of Washington Accord, because ISL is a member signatory or a member of this Washington Accord. So a degree eligible for graduate registration in Washington Accord signatory countries. Now, if say we have a program A which has been accredited by ISL as per the requirement of Washington Accord, pass out of that program, go to say B country, which is also a signatory to the Washington Accord, mutual recognition is there. But a degree only recognized here, that person goes out, that recognition. No. So when you get this accredited degree, after getting the experience, training, and other requirements, not only in here, but they can go out and get the professional membership from other countries. Like many of my friends now, they have gone there and they have got international engineering professional status in Australia and Canada, but the basic thing is from here. So that's the difference. But accreditation for international recognition for local. Now, as I mentioned earlier, what are the main criteria looking at by the accrediting bodies is the quality of the program. And here they will look at basically again program objectives and outcomes, POs and learning outcomes, and how these learning outcomes are imparted, program structure of the curriculum, and educational process, teaching, learning, assessment, the culture, then the quality assurance, quality management systems, and then statistics and dropout rates and completion rates of a cohort, and the financial stability of the institution, then operational environment, the facilities required, and then the quality of the staff and students, and the resources and facilities. These are the main things that will be looked at. And if there are deficiencies on these things, they will give a feedback. And if the deficiency is a very major one, we will not get the rejection. If it's minor, they will provide you conditional with the guidelines to improve, so that you can fulfill the requirement and get the full recognition. Now, are you aware of this academic credits and active hours definitions? They all are familiar with this Carnegie system of credits of academic credits, no? Because this is needed to explain the ISL requirement on program thing. So basically, as we all are familiar with the academic environment, we know that, say, if you have 1 hour lecture for 15 weeks, we get 1 academic credit. Now, here, are you familiar? Shall I explain this, or I can skip this? Or but so I will just explain quickly. Now, here ISL has 2 things. One is the academic credit, and the other one is active hours. Now, active hours are first defined 1 hour of lecture when if some student is participating 1 hour lecture, that is called 1 active hour or 1 age. And equivalent of that is come to tutorials or field work or laboratory activities, 2 hours, called 1 active hour. And then 1 active hour continued for a semester, about 14 weeks, is called 1 academic credit. So if you have 15-week semester, so 1 hour lecture for 15 weeks is equal to 1 academic credit, similar. And when it comes to open and distance learning, because you have to consider all the modes. Right. Can you see the screen? Can you all see the screen and hear me again?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yes. Right. So now, open and distance learning, 1 academic credit is equivalent to 25 active hours. Right. That's how the process is going. And then we'll go to this other parts which are related with not only that laboratory practicals, fieldwork, design things, as well as theoretical impartation is not only the part of the engineering degree program. So they have to do individual projects, group projects. They have to follow camps like survey camps. Then everybody has to go for professional engineering practice, which is called industrial training. And those are difficult to quantify in number of hours. Therefore, the norm is now 1 week of project study is equal to 1 academic credit. And 2 weeks of camp. And then 4 weeks of industrial training. That means 4 weeks of industrial training is equal to one academic credit. So if we are sending our student for 6 months industrial training or implant training, end of the month training, they will have they can claim for 6 academic credits as per the ISL guidelines. Now, I will then go to the specific requirements the ISL is looking at when accrediting degree programs. Here, I will be discussing with you based on only Washington Accord and the Sydney Accord requirements, because at the moment we have not gone for Dublin Accord, but I will explain what is the Dublin Accord requirement as well. So, a program to be accredited under Washington Accord, that program should deliver to students 130 academic credit minimum, and Sydney Accord minimum of 100 academic credits. Now we know the SLQF number of credits per year is how many? How many credits a student can earn in a year?
30.
30, yes, very good. 30. So 4 years, over a period of 4 years, you will develop and you will gain, you can claim for 120 credits. But here, another 10 is more required. Sydney Accord requirement, 3 years, you go over a 3-year period of 3 years, you may get 90 and another 10 additional there, because that's the requirement that they have kept. So you will get additional 100, 10 credits in both situations, right? So that is the requirement. It will be, if it is, because here the language is not the number of years, but the number of credit you have to acquire, because we consider open and distance learning as well. So in that situation, the duration may be more, and then the quantification comes through this credit. Then it should have out of this 130 and 100 should have mandatory exposure to professional engineering practice, right? That is the industrial training, which is called implant training, industrial training, so many words are used, but basically the whole purpose is to expose them to professional engineering practice, where you can see the requirement now. They have to get the training under a professional engineer. Like it's the same thing, like you know that the lawyers, they do that as well as this medical profession. Now always these medical students are going to the hospitals and getting this training. Same here, but we have in the industries 6 months, minimum 6 months. You can have more than that, but more than 1 year, it's okay. But they will count only maximum of 6 academic credits. That is 6 months. So when recognition is only for 6 months, 6 credits, why you should send it for them for 1 year? So they are time, but there are maybe other advantages as well. But still, you can see this is a mandatory component. Then another very critical thing is the academic staff to student ratio. In both Washington and Sydney Accord requirements, accreditation, ISL requires 1 to 12, 1 academic staff to 12 students, that student staff ratio. The staff student ratio, you can get the permanent staff, the staff who are on contract basis, those who are coming from other universities on sabbatical basis, as well as your visiting staff. But you see other requirement. For Washington Accord requirements, you need at least 6 full-time dedicated staff for the program. And Sydney Accord requirement, minimum 8 full-time dedicated engineering technology academic staffs. Right? So you can't cover simply through visiting or visiting lecturers. You need to have this 4 per degree. And if one department is offering 2 degree programs, the formula is given 2 plus 4. Let's say if one particular department is offering only 1 program, n is 1, so then 6. But they offer 2 programs, 2 into 8 plus 2, 10 is needed for that. So this is the requirement. So they are very critical on that. And many of us are now finding, even our university, we are finding difficult to meet this ratio. We do not have that. The card is there, but now see, getting the card and getting a, like, if we do not have card, this is a requirement. We can go and lobby with the authorities to get the card increment. Because without getting this accreditation, we cannot get our students to register with the accreditation of recognition, like institution, and then they can't go to practice engineering because of the engineering council restrictions. So then we can lobby with this to increase the staff requirement. Right? That's one. That's how the feedback is given to the other way. So this is what required. Not only that, there are some other requirements as well. So I will speak that. Are you clear about? Is it clear? These 3 requirements. Any clarification? Any questions? I'm not going to the very minute details of how these things are calculated and how visiting staff can be taken in. It is very clearly in the guideline document or the manuals. Any questions? I'm discussing. So we are about 1 hour I have discussed. I know it's not that easy to be online and sit for a long time. Any questions? Can we proceed?
Sir, hello.
Yes.
Sir,
Yes,
now, now there's a maximum credit that we can achieve is 30, say, per a year.
Yeah.
So if we are going to exceed that number,
Yeah.
increasing number of hours and assignments likewise, is it
Yeah.
good or bad, or what your idea?
So normally we take this like this, no? So we normally say a full-time student can effectively put only 1,500 hours for learning, because they have to do other activities as well. Full-time student can take
Notional
on
hours.
average full-time student can take or devote 1,500. So then that's the whole scenario, right? Then as per this SLK wave, they say 50 notional hours, no? 50 notional hours for one credit, and you divide that, it up with 30.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So this is average. But then if you increase more than that, then what that has an impact on students' workload.
Yeah, that's right.
Right? Then the students have to put more than the required 1,500 is a normal thing, but they have to put more additional things. But you can go for about 2-3 credits per year maximum, like 33 is quite okay. It's not that very alarming, because in other parts of the world, sometimes they are giving extended semesters for 1,800 hours as well, because they are full-time students. So, but if you increase it for, say, maximum is 30, but it is 45 is too much. But 3, 4 is okay. Have I answered your question?
Yeah. Now, what about part-time students?
Yeah,
That
that's
uh,
part-time means
only one day they have per
yeah.
week. How we achieve
Yeah.
these targets?
Then you have to see how you are counting that based on that particular like if they are coming one day, then
Yeah.
we have to see what is the method. This open distance learning method or
No, physical class.
yeah. Then you have to calculate through the now you are giving the assignments and the things for them to do at home, no?
Yeah, but they are working crowd. They
Yeah,
haven't
that's
much
right.
time also.
Yeah. Then you have to see you can now clearly see now part-time persons cannot do the degree in the same time of
Oh, yeah.
same duration as a full-time.
Yeah.
So that's what normally we say if a full-time degree students has to study for 3 years,
Yeah.
double of that needed by a part-time person,
Yeah. That's right.
right? That's the thing. So then you have to show that how this particular uh, like learning outcomes are achieved, but if you
Yeah.
ask the part-time students to finish the degree within 3 years, it's too much for them. Many
Yeah.
will be
Yeah.
dropped. Yes, too
Yeah. Yeah.
much.
That's
But
right.
there are mechanisms, huh?
Yeah.
Like open and distance learning. There are mechanisms. They take longer time. That's what I tell you.
But additionally, while they are working,
Yeah.
it is easy to teach them than the full-time students.
Yeah, that's by experience also. It's very easy to teach because they are motivated
Yeah.
and they have a purpose. It's easy to teach, and again we can recognize their experience also in their place of work if they are working in the related area, and
Yeah.
that can be shown in the curriculum. And in your
Yeah.
proposal, you can show this is how we are achieving this, right? But
Yeah.
duration will be quite longer than the normal.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because now we understand that if even full-time students, full-time study is 1,500, how much part-time person do? But we have to justify, right?
Yeah, okay.
So we are not now, for example, in our case, we have the weekend mode. We so say part-time. So they come in the weekend because they are employed. So we have one semester for 22 weeks. So Saturday,
Then,
Sunday, and then Friday we have this online and other weekdays we have assignment and so on. So
uh-huh.
we try to balance that,
Okay. Okay.
right?
Yeah.
But
Thank you very
you
much, sir.
know, there's a high amount of dropouts from that programs as well,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? Clear?
Thank you.
Have I answered? No,
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you very much. Yeah.
Okay, right. We'll go to the next one. Right. So then first they look at the content and the size of the program. Then the staff student ratio and exposure and the entry requirement. Entry requirements now, if somebody want to like get a program accredited under Washington Accord, all the students should be admitted through these criteria. Like they should have at least 2Cs and 1S in specifically, you know, say combined mathematics, physics, and chemistry in GCA level Department of Examination, Sri Lanka. That's why now some students have done instead of chemistry, IT for A level. So they are not taken by the engineering faculties. Right? If even engineering faculties take them in, they will have an issue at the end because they cannot get membership. Even the degrees are not will not be accredited, and if even one or two are there, they will not be able to practice engineering because of this thing. So it's very specifically 2Cs and 1S in A level. So subjects are specified, and then Cambridge or Excel, right? And then very clearly they mentioned that this foundation issue. After O level, some do foundation programs. They say foundation courses are not accepted in lieu of GCA level qualification. Right? No foundation. They have to do A level, either local law, Cambridge or Edexcel. Without that, compensating foundation programs are not accepted. Right? Clear? Then Sydney Accord, A level equivalent with ACA level, either it passes in mathematics, physics, and chemistry, or 3 passes in technology stream, including engineering technology and science for technology, engineering technology and science for technology. Third subject could be ITO, any art stream, humanities module, or NVQ 5 of the relevant field, like national vocational qualification in the field, like if they are going for construction technology, national vocational qualification level 5 in construction technology should be the entry qualification. When there are when a program has several options, all options are examined and each one should meet the established criteria. That's what say if you have A level and NVQ, then they will look at how these two groups are brought into the same level. Right? And the key point I want to highlight is this, especially Washington Accord, this foundation course segment. It is not. It is okay with other, but not for engineering. And then they want to specify not only that 100 they have specified, they are specifying how many should be allocated for basic sciences and computing, because it's needed to that develop the attribute knowledge base, right? So minimum of 25 uh, academic credits, not something. It should be academic credits, like ACs, academic credits for mathematics, basic sciences, and computing. And again, it is elaborated what sort of mathematics are needed there. And that is for Washington. But again, see, when it comes to Sydney Accord, 13. And sciences include physics and chemistry. And then engineering subjects, engineering sciences, technological and design projects like subject matter, 75 academic credits for Washington, and Sydney, 60. And
Excuse me, sir. This is
yes.
regarding the foundation program's alignment to the engineering program. That's so it is only for the study location in Sri Lanka, or it is applicable all around the world. Let's say for an
Here
example.
no, it's only for local situation.
Oh,
Because it in the international situation, scenario is different. I will explain that, right?
Yeah.
So basically now foundation means this earlier foundation.
No, so now there's a higher trend. Students they complete their O levels rather than their spending time on A levels. They prefer to do foundation programs and look for opportunities to switch to different countries in the world. So that's why this concern just asked from you. Is this
Yeah, that's
only a situation in Sri Lanka, or it's same in
No.
other parts of the world?
This this Washington Accord accreditation is based on International Engineering Alliance. The International Engineering Alliance is a federation of engineering institutions in so many parts, USA, UK, Australia, Canada, like that. And the ISL's, this criteria has been recognized by that alliance. That means this requirement ISL is not putting on their own, but it is the acceptance of the other parts of the world as well, right? So that is the situation. So at the moment, I can say it's a local requirement, but this local requirement they have come up with looking at the international requirement, and the international body has accepted this decision taken by IS. Right?
Thank you, sir.
Now then we go to complementary studies. These complete studies are not for developing the technical things, but to make these students are well-rounded graduates. They understand the society, understand the people, ethics, and all this. So they want to about 20 academic credits in Washington Accord and Sydney Accord, 15 academic credits for management, law, economics, ethics, communication. So the person be well adapted to the environments. And out of that, about say in Washington Accord, 5 academic credits, as well as in Sydney Accord, 3 academic credits are required as compulsory to be from humanities and social sciences. Right? That is why this meditation, stress management, then photography, this kind of some sports and music, drama, these kind of modules had come into engineering and engineering technology programs, so that to make that person a sensitive one. There's a challenge, like these engineering people are like mechanical, they don't understand people, they don't understand the feelings of people, like. So to make sure that they have this human touch and to appreciate nature, appreciate people like that, this part is there. Because when we were studying, these humanities subjects were not there in our education engineering program, because that time we have not gone to this engineering alliance or international recognitions. Right? So this actually this is not needed at the level of this is needed at the level of curriculum development to see whether our curriculum structure has these components in it. And then we'll go to the accreditation procedure. The procedure of accreditation is ISL has published a manual for recognition, accreditation of programs. And there they have given guidelines for you to do a self-assessment. And you have to do first self-assessment report. And after doing the self-assessment report, like institution can do it on your own and see whether they have fairly satisfied the requirement specified by ISL. Then we can submit an application or forward. And then once the application is forwarded, ISL will appoint a panel, accreditation board. They will go through our application and the self-assessment report. And if they need any documentary evidence, they will ask us to submit. And once if they are happy with the process, they will cooperate with us, they'll inform, and they will arrange an accreditation visit. And then the accreditation visit, basically about 3 days, about 5 members will be coming to the accreditation, facilitated by the direct admission of ISL. And then they will spend about 3 days, and what they will do now, we have sent our own assessment report and say we have said these are the modules, this is how assessment is done, this is how we assure that the students have achieved the learning outcome, like that. They will try to collect evidence. We have provided the documentary evidence, and they will collect hard documentary evidence like examination papers and our procedures, things like that, manuals. And same time, they will interview our staff, our students, and other stakeholders to clarify, verify, and triangulate the things we have declared. And then they will brief us about their findings, and they will report to the ISL, and then there's a process of accreditation board, go through the report and everything, and then they will give a decision. And once the decision is given, the institution can appeal for a review. Uh, and then if the things have been like, if the accreditation is positive, IES will publish in the web the accreditation status of the degree programs. And at the same time, there are possibilities of getting not the real team, but if we apply for recognition, like we can work with them and they will provide them informal evaluation visit. So us to see where we are and like improvement process. It's very similar to this ISO process, very similar quality assurance process. And at the accreditation visit, they will interview with the senior administrators. Then head of department will have to do a presentation for about 5 minutes. And then they will have interviews with the academic staff and so on. And this I will share with you slides and then you can go through that. So I will not spend time on that, and this everything I will skip. So basically I discussed that they will not only discuss, but they will go and inspect physically the facilities, laboratory and things. Now, when it comes to engineering diploma holders, the body responsible for accrediting the engineering diploma programs is the Institution of Incorporated Engineers, so IISL. So once they accredit the program and they will give these members of this program membership, and they allow or they provide two categories, that they provide the title of incorporated engineer, I-Eng, and that can be used by these people at the end of their names, but engineer ING before at the beginning, international incorporated engineer at the uh, end of the name. Engineering diploma programs as per the IEESL, IIESL, like it says, three in a diploma program should be 3 year full time in or equivalent. 4 years, no issue. Full time equivalent conduct by academic institution and accredited by the Council of Management of double IESL or IIESL. That's the engineering diploma. Now, any questions? Any questions on or any clarification you need? Can you hear me? Can anyone respond whether you can hear me?
So,
Yeah.
I can hear you. So, I have one question to ask. I decided to
please
ask
ask.
that
No,
one
no issue.
in later,
Yes.
but I think this moment is also suitable to ask that one. So,
Okay.
actually, at the moment, we are doing a diploma. We are
Okay.
doing the diploma to our student. So,
Okay.
we now get the opportunity to give them the degree as well. So, therefore, now we are going to discussion about this accreditation and that kind of thing. So
Okay.
at the moment we are in one of the discussion. We actually mean the after the we need actually give 3 year exist and 4 year exist to the student. So
Okay.
3 year exist if we give for the engineering degree. If
Okay.
we go for the Sydney, and after that, if we give 4 year degrees to the student according to the Washington, can we combine these two? It is also
Okay.
in a discussion. Someone say it's very difficult. Someone say if we try, it is also possible. So
Yeah.
that is
It's possible but difficult. That's right. Both are right. Because it depends on the attributes. Now, once I explain you, there you can see the content, say mathematics, the content requirement of Washington Accord is different from Sydney Accord.
Yes.
right? It's
Yes.
not the duration, but the content and the depth, right? So that is why this is difficult, right? It's not the duration of 3 year or 4 year, but it is the whole thing, content as well as the depth of that content, right? So when we, at the moment, this is the only answer I can give you. But once we discuss about the attributes of these three categories, you will get a better understanding. Then we can discuss. I will keep that
Actually, sir,
point.
we are in that kind of problem. Actually, that
Yeah.
later, I think it's better if if I have an opportunity to get to an idea also in later, I will try, sir. Okay.
Now, this is how. Now, if you design in such a way that because the engineering, uh, professional engineering, that requirements are very different from the technologist. That's the issue. Because that's a different path and the content, the attributes needed are different. So within 1 year, how are you going to get this attributes is a question, right? So let me
Yes, sir.
elaborate
Okay.
later. Now, when we come to the best, we have now discussed for about 1.5 hours. Do you need a break or can I continue? And what is the arrangement like? I'm given time till 4 o'clock, but we'll see. Do we need
Interesting,
a
sir.
break?
Continue.
Continue.
Interesting. Please
Continue
continue.
and try to finish earlier, right? It's okay?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's good.
Now, engineering
For me,
council,
of course, fine.
sorry, this okay?
Yeah.
Okay, continue. Now, we had the medical council, and medical council is very tightly controlling the medical education in Sri Lanka. But a lot of discussions were there that we need such a council for engineering as well. But not only medical council, medical education means not only the MBBS doctors, but it goes to the pharmacist and other level as well. All are covered. Now, so with this different discussions, we there's another question. Accreditation is given for 5 years. Full accreditation, conditional for 2 years. For different, they will identify the batches. Years means academic time. Now, this they say today, if they evaluate, they will grant it for 5 years forward. Right? That's how it happens. It's a quality assurance. Now, Engineering Council was established as per the Engineering Council Act of number 4 of 2017, and it became effective in 2018. And they are responsible for, now you can see, maintenance of professional standards and conduct of engineering practitioners. Professional standards and conduct. Now we can see the different roles played by ISL and ECSL. ISL is to oversee the engineering education. Until engineer is produced by institution, the whole educational process is mainly they look at. But now the practicing professional standards and conduct is covered by Engineering Council. And the Engineering Council register the engineering practitioners under different categories. Different categories. Like similar to like we have this Engineering Council UK. Similarly, here we have now Engineering Council Sri Lanka. But roles are a bit different. Now, as per that Act and the Gazette notification, ECSL is empowered to register anybody who is engaging in the practice of engineering profession. Now, anyone who is practicing engineering profession in Sri Lanka should register at the Engineering Council. So that will not exclude any foreigners. Sri Lankan citizen as well as any foreigners residing and working in projects of this country has to register with the Engineering Council of Sri Lanka. This is the arrangement. These are the specific clauses of that. Sri Lankans as well as anybody, because say if these are put into safeguard the rights and rights of citizens basically. Now, if somebody get a poor quality qualified person and employ that person in Sri Lanka as an engineer, consequences of their poor engineering practice could be felt by not by the company, by the citizens. No, to ensure that only this part is there, but I'm not very sure to what extent this is being practiced. But theoretically, this is the situation. Right? And these are the categories of memberships offered by please.
One.
I cannot hear you clearly. Can you repeat? Can you repeat, please? Could you please repeat it? I can't hear it. Okay.
So based on this only, that the entry criteria for the universities from last year onwards, that the engineering programs, the students must have 1C and 2S passes.
Yes. Yes. There earlier it was not there. Yes.
Yeah. Isn't it unfavorable if we look at the overall picture? Anyway, like the UGC recognized through Triple S as a student who has go through the A-level. So isn't it contradicting with the decision? And also
No,
minimizing students' opportunity to study within the sitting inside the country?
no, it's like this, no? Like 3 passes is to see they have passed GCE level. No? Passed GCE level. But admission to the university will not happen through that 3 S's, no? But you need higher the Z score, and this can be looked at 2 ways. If you look at from the engineer's point of view, the practicing engineers and so on, to get a good quality product, you need a good quality inputs. So that's why they specify the minimum 2Cs and 1S and that's thing. At the same time, if you look at this, as you said, the outcome-based education, in the outcome-based education, we do not specify the requirement to the entry, but we specify at the output level the attributes. So there's a contradiction in that. But yes and no, but everybody cannot be satisfied, no? So some way can see it's unfavorable as well. But at the same time, when you look at from other side, from the professional bodies point of view, when they look at from that side, say that's not unfavorable. But we look at from students' angle, yes, I agree with that. See some kind of unfavorable, right? But passing, this is actually an issue because this university entrance and all A-level passes are two different things. So you may not remember like good old days. There had been two things. One is the university entrance. The university, you can pass this subject, but universities were conducting their own test to select. But now that is not there now. But yes, both sides. Okay. Right.
Yes, thank you. Because we currently, I think experiencing students are going out from the country, and to keep hold them, it
Yeah,
was a
definitely. So we
challenge.
have to provide
And
more opportunities. Yes, yes.
yeah, so because students who are capable of moving out from the country with the three minimum passes, they will anyway move and obtain their higher studies. But
Then
there would be a cohort. They would require. They don't have any choice, so other than entering to a local, a private university or a semi-government university and continue their studies. But it will be again be challenged
Yeah,
with this kind of situations arise. And yes, sir.
that's
That's
right. So
it.
they,
Thank you.
they want to keep that tight control because for say that now we have enough engineering faculties, so we that will get it. Okay. Now then comes this chartered engineer, associate engineer, and the affiliate engineer are the engineering titles given by ECLCL or Engineering Council of Sri Lanka. Full member of Institution of Engineers can get the chartered engineer status, and they can use at the beginning of their name, and then associate engineer and affiliate engineer. And then this tree actually uh, engineering basically for Washington Accord, first two Washington Accord accredited degrees. So the third one affiliate is for Sydney Accord. And then incorporated engineer and the engineering diplomate, that's another two qualifications for diploma holders and engineering technicians. These are memberships given by IC. Registries, chartered engineers, associate engineers, affiliate, incorporated and engineer. These are at the moment available. These registries are there. So if you get a membership, full member from ISL, and then you can get charter engineer status from ECSL, but every year you have to renew if you want to use the title. Now, ECSL is not evaluating individuals and see their qualifications to give award the membership, but they do. They get the affiliate, associate, affiliate, and chartered engineers from Institution of Engineers Sri Lanka, and then incorporate and diploma engineers from Incorporated Engineers Sri Lanka, and then for last category technical technicians, they are getting to the craft level tertiary and vocational education commission. Now this they have to first how to register. First you have to go to IESL, get the membership, then you can go to ECSL get. Then you have to go to IESL, double IESL, and then go to ECSL and get. Then to get this qualification, we have to go with the Tertiary and Vocational Education Commission and get a NVQ level 4, National Vocational Qualification level 4, and after 1 year experiences, they are able to reach the technician level. Now, this is about the Sri Lankan scenario. Now we'll discuss the global scenario. In the global situation, to maintain engineering education standards as well as to see the professional standards and competence of engineers practicing around the globe. This International Engineering Alliance was formed by different engineering bodies in different countries. So they are basically governed by three accords, three agreements, and this engineering alliance is a voluntary body, non-governmental one, and it is having its secretariat in New Zealand, Wellington. Voluntary process, not done. Now, I will brief a little bit about the history of the International Engineering Alliance and how these agreements and other things. So, because when you say Washington, Sydney, Dublin, everything, you may get sometimes confused. Now, engineering institutions like evolved over the centuries. And these are actually voluntary bodies developed to promote their profession and discipline of the members. They started in very early 19th century, and especially they've been formed in USA and UK. Like very old one is Institution of Civil Engineers. So we normally go ICE way back in 1818 in UK, and then Engineers Ireland, and then the American sort of civil engineers, all 1800, and then that spread to the other parts of the world. And then these bodies started to accredit the programs in their own countries, their area. And with the mobility of people now, transportation and the things improved, and the people start to move not only from one uh, province of a country to another province, but across countries. Therefore, there was a requirement to have now people have started to migrate, so there was a requirement to have apprenticeship spread to many countries. So thereafter, these bodies joined together and first established a accord. That is kind of an understanding, right? Guidelines to work together, and that accord is called Washington Accord, and that was meant to cover the education and professional competence and standards of professional engineers, normally we say chartered engineers and international professional engineers. So again, another development was in year 2001, these bodies established another accord called Sydney Accord to cover the engineering technologies. And the latest one was in 2002, they joined together to develop another accord called Dublin Accord for engineering technicians. Now you'll be confusing what is this professional engineer, technologists and technicians. Now why these accords? Accords are to mutually recognize between the countries or signatories accredited educational programs designed to provide educational foundation. We say the professional engineers or technicians or technologists are developed through two-stage process. One is through educational foundation, and then after that they enter to the profession and they practice, get experience, training. Thereafter they achieve the second level. So these accords are specifying program requirements, graduate level competence. That's graduate attributes is the main thing. Then, not only that, these bodies continue to develop, like 1989 Washington Accord. Then they came out with the agreement among the membership countries, and it's called International Professional Engineers Agreement. And it was known as at the beginning Engineers Mobility Forum. Now it is known as this agreement in 2007. That is to mutually recognize professional expertise of not the education but experience and other professional competencies of engineers. Then 2003, the 2002, 2001 Sydney Accord then came up with the International Engineering Technologies Agreement, known as Engineering Technologists Mobility Forum in 2003. Again, for engineering technologies, professional competence. And the last one was Agreement of International Engineering Technicians in 2015. That is for technicians. Now, what these agreements are dealing is, they are concentrated on the independent practicing engineering professionals' professional competence. Now see the difference. Now agreements are specifying the knowledge base or education base required by these three categories, engineer, technologist or technician, to enter into the field. So based on that only, we do the accreditation of degrees. Then the professional development path, the agreements are there. Independent practicing engineers project. So with all these 6 agreements and 6 accords, they joined together and wanted to fund for a common secretariat to implement these 6 instruments called 3 agreements and 3 accords. And that is how this institution or the International Engineering Alliance was established. And their main purpose is to, or they are concerned with educational standards of and professional competence of engineering professionals. Now, engineering professional, not engineers. Engineering professional, there are 3 categories. Right? So then they look at education and the professional standards. So the, as I explained earlier, this secretary is in New Zealand. Right? This one I explained. Educational agreements or accords are concerned with the engineering programs, and the agreements are defining professional competence. And what does that mean? And what is the advantage now? Now, before 2014, we have not, the ISL has not gone to Washington Accord. And then 10 years later, they went to Sydney Accord, the provincial secretary level. Now, for Washington Accord, we are a full member. What is the advantage? These agreements will help the bodies to establish equivalence of programs. It says to establish the substantial equivalence of academic programs. Academic programs or professional formation schemes. Like, what is substantial equivalence? We say program A and B are not going to be equal, but as a whole, they can be equated. So, say, for example, we say when applied in to education, A and B have different subject matter combinations, entry requirements, assessment procedures, things like that. But at the end, both programs will be developing almost identical graduates. So then if that is there, we say the programs are substantially equal. That's the whole idea. Now, to summarize, you can see professional engineers are the graduate level education foundation or the base is covered through the Washington Accord, and the independent practitioners, chartered engineers, and the international professional engineer status by the agreement. And this is Asia Pacific Engineer Agreement. That is no more there. It is also amalgamated to this one. Then engineering technologies, Sydney Accord, graduate level competence, and then independent practice competence is by International Engineering Technologist Agreement, and Dublin Accord is for similarly technology. Now, Sri Lanka through ISL is a full signatory to Washington Accord and International Professional Engineers Agreement. So that is where our institutions can offer these credentials. This is for Sydney Accord and International Engineering Technologist Agreement. And we have not got the full membership of that Now, this IEA is specifying engineering professionals. So they say in engineering, we have engineering team. And this team comprises of three people, the professional engineers, technologists, and the technician. And we'll see what are their similarities and differences. So this is the definition. I will skip that and we'll go straight to that the differentiation part. Now, professional engineering, engineering technologist, and engineering technician. These are the basic differences. Is problems to be solved by the practicing professional. Now, professional engineer will have to solve complex engineering problems, whereas engineering technologists are supposed to solve only broadly defined engineering problems, not well defined. But if well defined engineering problems are to be solved, that is the role of engineering technicians. So, like investigation, doing research, and data collection, these are needed for professional engineers. Sometimes the problem is not known. What's the first? The challenge is to find the problem. Engineering technologies, they have a broad defined problem area. In that area, they can work. But when it goes to technicians, well-defined problems. So that is why this Washington Accord requirements for professional engineers, Sydney Accord requirement for engineering technologists, and engineering technician is from Dublin Accord specify different levels of mathematics, science, and foundations. And then again, these are the problem solving. Another one is range of engineering activities they have to do. Professional engineers, complex activities. Technologists, again, broadly defined activities. Engineering technicians, well-defined activities. Right? Then, the requirement of these three groups, the foundation. To become a professional engineer, one has to follow at least 4 to 5 years of a program, typical duration of a tertiary education program. Tertiary is after secondary. It depends on the entry of the student level. 4 to 5 years for Washington Accord. Sydney Accord, 3 to 4 years. And Dublin Accord, technician, 2 to 3 years. This is not degrees, but they say it's only the program duration, because when you engage in a long-term program, you develop certain attributes. So there is a two-stage model of development of international professional engineers. First, I think I explained earlier, education stage, normally provided by accredited degree program or program, you can see, accredited program. They never says it's degrees. It could be a diploma as well. But that diploma should develop the attributes required. And the duration of 4 to 5 years after postgraduate, post-secondary school. After post-secondary school. This is why we have to complete the secondary school. That's why this foundation program issue comes in. Post-secondary, tertiary. And then after that, followed by a period of supervised training while gaining experience in engineering practice. That is, after that, you can go for international professional engineering. Right? Washington Accord is to certify the educational base, and International Professional Engineers Agreement for professional competence. And once you get this thing, the particular institution of engineers can award an individual title International Professional Engineer in Sri Lanka, right? As ISLS full signal to Washington. These are the members of Washington Accord. Now, if you get this accreditation, these countries, they will mutually recognize. Then we go to provisional members. You can see Thailand, Bangladesh, they are still the provisional members of the body. And when it goes to Sydney Accord, it is for recognition of engineering technologist educational base. And these are the member countries. And these are the different categories of titles given by different countries for the engineering technologist. Australia, engineering technologist. Associate engineer in Ireland. Engineering technologist, New Zealand. Then incorporated engineer, UK. But all are coming under the broad category of engineering technologies. So different countries, different titles. Sydney Code, signatory countries, and we are a provisional member for Sydney. Then, to become an international engineering technologist, as we discussed, 3 to 4 years of educational program accredited by the respective professional body. And after that, 7 years of practice after graduation, including out of that 7 years, 2 years in charge of responsible engineering work. Then they can claim. Then the Dublin Accord is for the technicians, and we are not going to discuss that much because no institution in Sri Lanka has got the membership of this. And now we'll discuss a little bit on this graduate attributes and professional competencies. Now, graduate attributes are and graduate knowledge profiles are decided by this International Engineering Alliance mutually, and they have for knowledge profile 8 indicators for Sydney Accord, Washington Accord, whereas 7 indicators for Dublin Accord. And for graduate attributes, they have 12 characteristics and 12 indicators. Right. So we can see how they have described this Washington Accord requirements, Sydney Accord requirements, and Dublin Accord requirements. You can see different categories, similar ones, very similar, right? But differences are also there. Now, for example, a systematic theory-based understanding of the natural science subject applicable to discipline. When you go for Sydney Accord, systematic theory-based understanding of the natural sciences applicable to subdiscipline. Here again, subdiscipline for W. See the difference. Broader knowledge is required for Washington Accord, Sydney Accord, not with limited knowledge. Again, you can see the 12 attributes of graduate profile: engineering knowledge, problem analysis, design and development, like that. You can see. Apply knowledge of mathematics, natural science, engineering fundamentals in and engineering specialization, as specified there in the knowledge profile, to the solution of complex engineering problems. Here you can see Applied knowledge of mathematics, natural science, engineering, fundamentals in engineering specialization as specified to a defined and applied engineering procedures. You can see the differences. So it's not very clear maybe, but this is available in the ISL accreditation manual as well. Okay, but see, under same guidelines, you have classified three engineering professionals. Why? These three are needed to practice. One is not superior to the other. They complement to each other. That's why they call it engineering team. All are required to do the engineering activities. So I think we have gone without a break for nearly 2 hours. Some have left because they may be feel bored. And any questions on this now? Can you hear? How many now? About only few are remaining. Any questions? Can you hear me first, since?
Sorry. So I have a
Yes.
question.
Yes, please ask. Now
I
time.
don't know if it's directly regarding this. I want to know
Yeah.
the difference or important and the demand of the BTech and BSc degree. If you can give idea
Can
about
BSc.
BSc and BTech and the demand also. If you have, I have an idea about the student demand requirement, and I need to know your idea also about this BTech and BSc.
Okay. Right. Now, BScs are designed to provide the basic knowledge base of this required professional engineers. No, that's for design oriented. BTech is for providing the engineering base for engineering technologies. That is the difference. But in Sri Lanka at the moment, some are still confused about these two different groups coming from the these two streams. Now earlier we had only diploma and the degree, like the BTechs were not much popular. We had the diploma, and the diploma holders were working. The diploma code is for the technicians. They are supposed to work on a very well-defined problems. Whereas BScs are to solve and work on complex activities. The gap of the middle was not there in our country. So what happened? Sometimes professional engineers who are decided, or BSc graduates who are developed for designing side of things were asked to work at that BTech level. So they have a complaint that these people do not have the enough practical competencies and things to work at that level. They are a bit of underemployed. At the same time, diploma holders were sometimes overemployed, and they were being asked to perform these broadly defined activities. Thereafter, what happened? More and more theoretical content went to diploma programs. And many of our diploma programs are almost equal to degree program requirements. So the lot of stuff is there. So that gap is there. So that is recognized in the other parts of the world, these three people. But here still our mindset is for only the diploma holder and the degree. Therefore, there's a confusion that do we need these BTech people, and can we only satisfy with the BScs and diploma? Right? That's very correct. Students has a different thing, but industries they are not much very familiar with yet. But without, that's why I wanted to put the title, the topic, as per the International Engineers Alliance. This team need three people to work at three levels. But earlier we didn't have this engineering technologies position. We didn't have. So basically, B techs are more practical and less theory compared to BScs. BScs, yes, they have practical skills, but these are investigative laboratory kind of a practicals, not much hands-on uh, operational things.
Yeah.
Have I explained you or
Yeah, sir.
would you
I
like the
saw
detail?
the article that USA recognize these both tech, BTech and BSc, but according to them, they BSc can provide within 3 years, but BTech, as you explained, practical knowledge and technical
Yeah,
knowledge, it need 4 years.
right.
4 years to provide BTech degree, but a BSc, of course, can
Why
provide
there are a lot of
3.
confusions now. Like if so, in Germany, you get
Uh,
no degrees for engineers,
okay.
diploma engineers. No, they have 4 years or 5 years. Their program is 5 years. They get engineering diploma, dip engineering. That's why now we are going behind this BSc, BTech, BEng, and so on. But
Yeah.
the as per this recognition, this international engineering lab, they don't talk about the title of the qualification, but they look at the graduate profile, and then based on that they put them in the position. And one country BSc may like say to say at the early days UK no engineering BScs, they had BA, Bachelor of Arts
Yeah.
in very early days, but they after they came to BSc, now they are offering B. Now B is it B Tech or BSc equivalent? Confusion, no?
Yeah. Yeah. And
Right?
I think you have idea about Sri Lanka students'
Yeah.
demand for this uh, BTech or BSc.
They need BScs. That's what they are looking at.
Yeah, yeah, that's
They don't they don't want to satisfy with B Tech, but now if you get it, when you go out, demand in the industry for B Techs are more than
yeah,
uh,
yeah, that's right.
BScs. But ours is different. The
Okay.
reason is this. Now, you know that ratio of engineering team, like one engineer to say 1 to 4 to 5, or now it's say 1 to 6 to 25. Craft
Mm.
level, the people about 25, then middle level 5, and one engineer, one design engineer. So if a company, say companies are employing, they will not have so many BScs, but they will have so many uh,
Yeah, hands-on it.
BTechs. Right. But our demand is different, of course.
Yeah.
Do you agree with me or
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah, I totally agree. Thank you very much, sir.
why now here the concept is now in Sri Lanka we assume that this BScs are managerial and kind of they
Yeah.
are more white collar oriented than you can be
Yeah,
in AC office, huh?
yeah.
Right? That's the thing. So I had one I had one of my batchmates, he did civil engineering, but he said, I don't want to go to field. I want to work in office. Why he had done civil engineering? This
Mm,
kind of thing is there.
mm.
Any other questions, please?
Excuse me, sir. Am I
Yes, yes,
audible?
yes,
Yeah.
please.
Now we have this Washington Accord and Sydney Accord both. In Sri Lanka, we know that PS engineers are engineering degrees holders are registered in ISL, and diploma HND and diploma holders are registered in IISL.
Yes,
So Sydney Accord, it's totally related to this uh, IISL. So, but you mentioned that in Washington Accord, Sri Lanka is a member, but Sydney Accord, it's we are not a full member, but
yeah,
isn't the IISL responsibility to register in this Sydney Accord. Otherwise, our diploma
Yeah.
holders, they can't comply with the other countries, right?
Yeah. Now in Sri Lanka, the situation is dip- irrespective of the degree or diploma. Now, IESL is the body who has got the provisional membership of this uh, Sydney Accord, right? So they recognize only degree programs, and provisional means what will happen is they will first give the provisional membership, and then Sydney Accord the members will evaluate the IESL's procedures, and maybe in couple of years time they will be granted the full status. So then they are getting the membership. But again, it's not the diploma or the degree, but it's the graduate attribute that is to be considered. But there's a point here, as you mentioned, the ISL is recognizing only degrees, but the diploma is recognized by AAIC. In our
Oh,
situation, everybody has got silent on the Dublin Accord. It's got 3-year diploma, 3-year engineering diploma. Like I think I explained you the requirements of these three things. Let me clarify. Yeah, can see. Now, any diploma engineering technology is 3 to 4 year duration of program. They never say 6 degree, but attributes to be at that level, right? So we cannot say it's the responsibility of IESL. They may also work, but at the moment it is IESL. It's done
okay.
because
And another one, sir,
yes.
now as I learned in a few years, all the engineering related engineers, technologists, and technicians, all of them have to be registered and licensed under ECSL.
Yes, even now
But
that's the legal thing, but not fully
yeah, that's the
implemented.
legal
Yes.
thing, but still they are giving some provision.
Yes.
But the problem is now in most of the organizations, they have given promotions in a kind of internal promotions like technical officers, engineering superintendents, even engineers. They have given promotion.
Right.
Now there would be a really that when they have to take this ECSL registration because IISL and IESL is not giving membership for those guys who have granted the positions now.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
So
Even
that's kind of
yes, that's right. Yeah,
a
they
problem. I think there should be that is, ECSL circular is came in 2017. So after these eh, 1980s and 1990s, there were some people who were
yeah, yeah.
recruited to the organizations with their competency levels.
Qualifications. Yes, right.
Yeah, not by paper qualification. So there should be a
Experience, and so on.
recognized prior learning
Yeah,
some mechanism, right?
yeah. There'll be issue, but they have to come up with now they have to come up with that's what transitional arrangement until the things are fully uh, operationalized, right? That's why it's not fully implemented. But basically, the core purpose of engineering council is to make sure that we get regulated the use of word engineering.
Yes.
That's the,
Okay.
that's the idea. Like medical quality assurance, but then there are practical issues as well. Right. Any other questions? Now, can you see the difference between engineering graduate, engineering technologist graduate, and engineering technician graduates? If we have degrees, all the broad descriptions. I highlighted the only very key thing: a longer program duration, minimum, and then sort of activities they have to follow. This is the main thing: complex and broad and well defined. And normally engineers are a discipline, and engineering technologists will be in sub-disciplines, and the technicians also in sub-disciplines. Say, for example, like the broad concept of civil engineering, and that engineering technology will there in the irrigation, specialized in irrigation. Technicians or like their sub-disciplines, but broader thing is civil engineering. Like, are there any other questions? Please, if you have. Yes.
Another
Yes, please.
questions. In here in Sri Lanka, the VTA is conducting NVQ levels. So they say that
Sorry?
there's equivalent NVQ levels for degrees also. So what's the provision in Washington and Sydney Accord for this NVQ qualification?
NVQ qualifications, NVQ 1 to 4, the say only NVQ 4 craft level, that is master crafter level, that is as I said, that with the TVC certification of that 4 and 1 year experience, they are eligible to register at ECS. And the diploma holders NVQ 5-6 has to go to the IISL and get that. And NVQ 7 that we offer the degree, then they have to go to IESL process. That is how it is happening.
Okay, thank you.
Any other? Now, to sum up, again, you can see professional competency profile. Right? Professional competency profile is not at the level of passing out, but after passing out, after getting experience, they will develop their professional competency, and then can see what they are expected from professional engineer. Design or develop solution to complex problems. Design, develop solution to broadly defined problems. Design, develop solution to well-defined problems. Technician. So we can see always. And then last one is responsible for decisions. Responsible for making decisions on part of all for complex activities, broadly defined activities, and well-defined activities. That is how these professional companies also go there. So that it always limits the scope of activities. So this is my last slide. That's on my references. This was developed. The presentation slides were developed to referring these documents. So thank you. With that, going to wind up. And if you have any questions, please ask. I think this is a kind of not an easy time and a bit of a boring time. And we, without a break, we continue. So any questions, please ask.
Sir, excuse me, one
Yes.
last question.
Please.
Earlier, you spoke about accreditation and you said that it is awarded for 5 years.
Yeah.
So, in the case of non-state education institutes in Sri Lanka, if they don't go for the accreditation process, what
Yeah.
happens then, sir? Like IESL, do they take the responsibility of going and checking on them and their quality standards after 5 years? Or how does that happen in the
No.
non-state sector, sir?
Yeah, it is irrespective of the state or non-state sector. It's 5 years full accreditation. And before the elapse of the 5 years, before 6 months,
Uh-huh.
The institution has to reapply. ISL will not go beyond the institution.
Exactly. So
If
if they don't do that, sir,
yeah,
what are the repercussions of not
repercussions
doing
is
the?
the repercussions is ISL will remove that particular program from their accredited list.
Uh-huh.
That's number one.
Okay.
Then if a student looks at then say this program is not accredited, so then they can't attract students.
Hmm.
And the students now for the accredited batches, they can get the membership easily. But others, when the program is not accredited, these students has to go. ISL has a process called individual applicant pathway. Individually,
Uh-huh.
they
Uh-huh.
have to apply and get the membership. Then they have to spend more time, more money, and more, it's got difficult process, right?
Oh, I see. So I just looked at one of the institutes that I know and then
Right.
their website, but there is
Okay.
no mention of accreditation by ISL or anything else. All they have published in their website is that they have won a lot of national awards. So
Right.
in the case, because I represent the English language department and I do
Okay.
teach engineering students. I'm just
Okay.
asking from the perspective of non-engineers.
Okay.
So, like in the case of people who want to put their children or guide students, how do we guide them to find a good institute if the information is not available about the accreditation and all of
Yeah.
these?
Only thing is that you can go to the ISL website,
Uh-huh.
and in the ISL website, they have a list of accredited degrees
Okay, sir.
for Washington Accord and the Sydney Accord. They have published that list. So
Okay.
we can look at that.
Yes, sir.
That's
That's a very good idea.
that's the method, right?
Yes, sir. Thank you so much.
That's they give publicity. Now, once you get the accreditation, you give publicity by the ISL, and also that if that particular private institution somebody has got this accreditation, they will use it very widely. Like ISO.
Yes, that's true. But
Yeah.
in one of these cases, what I found was that they may have gotten it. I don't have evidence, but
Okay.
they have a large group of students for engineering.
Right.
However, now the standards, because I teach there, I have experienced like a very bad culture. And
Okay.
none of the students are, I mean, there are no formative assessments, no summative assessments.
Right.
And there's like, it's just that the students come for the sake of coming and just, even the 80% is not kind of properly calculated.
Okay.
So,
Right.
like, but when you go to their website, it's very impressive. And,
Yeah. Yeah.
someone might think, wow, this is a good place for me to send
Yeah.
my kid.
Yeah.
So that's why I thought of asking, like, how to guide anyone in the case that, because we are
Yeah.
non-engineering
Yeah.
professionals.
If somebody want to
Yes,
follow a well-recognized engineering degree program,
yes,
and that's the basis the ISL website, they can go and
yes.
check.
That's a good idea. Thank you so much.
Okay, you're welcome. Any other questions?
Yeah, another question is, sorry
Yes,
for
please.
asking. And sir, now regarding notional hours,
Okay.
now 1,500 according to
Yes.
the their requirement.
Right.
Now, if some organization or some accept 750 as a 30 credit requirement, it's a notional hours. Is it what will happen?
750 hours is the requirement of a semester.
Not
Notional
the
hours means
no 30 for 30 credit.
right.
It says 750 is the requirement of notional hours. What will happen if?
No, as per the SLQ, that is wrong.
Yeah, you know that. But if we consider another format,
Okay.
what will happen to the quality and
Yes.
the everything
Yeah.
for the course?
Yeah.
It will badly affect.
Yeah. This is the situation now. You can understand a person has other activities to be attended. No, that's why 1,500 is taken as the uh, number of hours an average student can put into education. Based on that only everything is calculated, right?
Yeah.
So in certain contract in this UK especially, when they have these extended summer semesters and things like that, they go for the more than 1,500, but they go to about 1,800 hours for one year. Then they divide it by UK, their credit system, that they take 10 notional hours as one credit. And so they are, say, they are 4-year program. They have, I think they have, yes,
300. 300. Yeah, if
very
we,
high amount. I think
no, if it is 10,
they earn 120 credits per year.
yeah,
For 1,200 and 10 hours, 1,000, like 480 credits, some programs. Then we have to look at that with their system definition. Now, we in Sri Lanka, we benchmark this with uh, SLQ wave. It is
yeah,
with
1,500.
750, you can get only 50. It's
15,
not
that's right. But,
350.
yeah, but
Yes.
in Sri Lanka, I'm talking about Sri Lanka Institute. I can't remember the
Okay.
TV. So,
Oh,
yeah,
this,
I can't remember
this is the
exactly.
first time that I heard about that.
Yeah,
700 maybe contact hours.
these days we are working on that. I am from the Slita to offer a
Okay.
degree at BSc or BTech. That's why I asked so many questions.
So normally, I'll put it this way. Now,
Yeah,
the accreditation body ISL will not look at the notional hours. They look at the active hours.
okay.
Like this notional hours comes like the active hours. Say if you have a purely theoretical based module, you have to deliver 1 hour per week for 15 what 15
15 weeks.
weeks. So then students are in contact with you for 15 hours.
Yeah,
Then as a rule of thumb, the understanding in the academia is if you sit for 1 hour lecture, you have to put another 2 hours of study to grab the content and like independent studies. So
yeah,
therefore, that particular 1 hour of contact with the teacher
yeah,
is supplemented with another 30 hours of independent learning. Then altogether it goes to 45.
yeah,
And then for assessment purposes, you have to spend about another 5 hours examination, not the CA, but examination. Then
yeah,
altogether it comes to 45 plus 5 is like 50. And
yeah,
this 50 is taken as one credit in the SLQ web. And then 1,500 is divided by this and take to what you call 30 credits
credit.
notional hours line.
Yeah,
This is the calculation.
yeah,
So if you take only the contact hours, that is possible, right?
yeah,
Got the point?
yeah, I understand.
Not just independent studies, but as a rule of thumb in the academia, the whole world, the understanding is that the practicals, if you have 2 hours, so that's why I say 2 hours of practical is equal to 1 hour of theory. If you engage
Yeah,
in a practical with the guided practical for 2 hours, then you need only another 1 hour to supplement self studies to get the outcomes required from that. And then 30 plus 15 comes to again 45, another 5, 40, 45 plus 30. That is the notional hours.
that is another format.
Huh? The
That,
same. That's what I said. Same thing.
yeah,
Theoretical. That the second one I said pure practical one.
practical. Okay,
Purely a practical one.
yeah,
Right?
that's okay. Right.
Purely a practical one. So then that means purely practical. Like say if you give 1 hour theoretical lecture for the 15 weeks, you get one
30.
credit. And
Yeah,
if you give 2 hours of practicals for 15 weeks, you will get how many credits?
sorry.
if you give 2 hours practicals per week
Yeah.
for 15 weeks, how many credits you are getting?
30, no?
No.
2 hours?
1 hour lecture, 15 weeks, 1 credit.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, 2 credits.
And we say 1 hour of theory is equal to 2 hours of
Yeah.
practical.
Practical.
Then 2 hours of practical for 15 weeks yield another only 1 credit.
Ah, that's right. Okay.
Right?
Okay.
That's how. So then when you have this is the active hour and academic credit requirement of IESL. But the
Okay.
SLK we
Yeah,
looking
that's
at the notional. But see, another thing, now industrial training. Industrial training, 4 weeks of industrial training is considered as 1 academic credit in IES. But 1 week, basically, if you are working from 8 to 5, like 30 hours at minimum of 30 hours per week. So the 120
Yeah.
hours, active hours in that sense is taken as 1 credit because it's not
Ah.
guided as such in the guided and structured as such in the case of lectures or practicals. Okay.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Any other?
Thank you very much.
Yes, Nirosh, do you have any other questions?
No, that's
No.
enough for the
Okay, right. If so, then I think it's nearly 3:30. And if you have taken a break, we could have consumed another 10, 15 minutes minimum. And I think you may be fed up with now listening to me. And shall we wind up with no questions? Right? Shall we stop the session now? The whole day would have been boring for you, right? So I also had participated this kind of a learning. This not with the Java developer, but online also because time to time I want to get my teaching competence also upgraded. So recently I did with Open University this senior lecturers induction program. So 1 day it's very difficult to concentrate 1 days.
Today will count as 2 days for our
Yeah, that's right. That's right. It's very difficult because we change the roles also. We are normally teaching. So we are now listening and passively listening and doing like what to do with online. No? Okay. So then thank you so much for joining with me. And
Yeah, thank you very
I
much, sir.
will stop now and I will share thank you so much for your comments. I will share my slide with the staff development center, so they will share it with you, right? And if you
Okay,
need,
Dr. Suroy, thank you very much. And I could listen to the whole lecture, but I just heard something. So I think
okay,
others may
okay,
have. And for the others, I'll send you the participants. I'll send you a mail that you will have a micro teaching session on 1st of March. So I'll send you the more details. And thank you, Dr. Suroy, for your presentation.
okay.
And
Thank you,
you can
Professor.
send
Thank you so much.
slides
We'll
and
see
I'll
you.
share with them.
Okay.
Okay,
So
then.
shall I leave now?
Okay, I'll finish that. Okay.
Okay, I will leave now. Right.